Welcome, Pagosa Springs. Thanks for watching another recap of our local government meetings. This is your chance to stay informed without having to sit through some really long and very boring meetings, but today we are going to cover two meetings at once since both the county and town had their board meetings yesterday. But before we get into talking about soul-sucking topics such as government budgets, let's remind ourselves of why we call this place home. Man, Pagosa is beautiful. I just absolutely love it here. All right, before we start, if you're viewing this on Facebook, go subscribe to our YouTube channels if you haven't already. It really is the easiest and best way to view our content. And let's just be honest, with all the news coming out lately about Facebook and how they prioritize divisive and damaging content in order to increase engagement so they can make record profits at the expense of hurting our nation, well, I'll just say it. Facebook kind of sucks. So make the move to YouTube. It really is a better overall viewing experience. It's made for more quality content rather than mindless and endless scrolling like Facebook. But you know, I could keep going on, but enough of that rant about Facebook. I'm sure that algorithm on Facebook will penalize this video and not put it in people's feeds, but hey, so be it. All right, let's get on with it. Let's start off with the town of Pagosa and their big news. Council met last night and started off the meeting to interview 3 candidates vying to take the seat of Roy Burnett, who resigned over a month ago. Council asked each candidate 3 questions and then ended up voting on Jeff Posey to take the seat. Jeff has lived within the town limits for a little over 2 years now and has served on the Planning Commission. After listening to his interview, I can say he is very well spoken. He's to the point. He didn't ramble on and on like how I can sometimes, and he has a great sense of humor. After the vote, council quickly sweared him in, and he jumped right into the meeting and started taking action. After finding our next council member, council moved on to unfinished business, where they passed Ordinance 960, which limits control of animals to a fence, cage, leash, or lead, and the length of that leash to 10 feet. After that was new business, where the fun begins. City Manager Andrea Phillips spent the next hour talking about the 2022 budget. And there's so much in here that I can't go over it all, so let's just hit a few things that I've found interesting. Point number 1, sales tax. Sales tax is the lion's share of our revenue, 88% in fact. And Andrea said directly, we live and die on sales tax. Our sales tax revenue will end up 21% over budget this year, thanks to tourism and STRs. And this is why tourism is vital. Tourists spend a lot of money here. And all that sales tax that comes from their spending helps provide our parks, our streets, our staff, our buildings, our government. It provides opportunities for business and the reason to live in a magical place like Pagosa. And the hard truth here is that when tourism starts to die, so does our town. So does our neighbors' businesses, and so does our community and our way of life. But more tourism means more growing pains, which means we need more local workers, and they need an affordable place to live. Which leads to point number 2. Pagosa will be creating a new community development department with a new housing division underneath this department. And this housing division will have a little over $500,000 to work with. And this is super important because we are years behind where we should be with this. Honestly, all mountain towns are, all of America is. And it's tricky because we are transitioning to a new economy and a new set of rules where workers are rejecting Walmart and service industry jobs in search of better opportunities with higher pay and really more life satisfaction. Anyways, we could spend hours and hours talking about this, but for now, we'll see what comes out of this, what solutions they have in mind, and how we can keep Pagosa growing and thriving. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. And that isn't pretty. Go visit some of those towns that are dying. It's pretty sad. Finally, my last point number 3. Overall, this is a mostly balanced budget, but they are dipping into the reserves for a few portions of the budget. Not a lot, just a little bit really, to help cover the costs of capital projects in other areas. There's still plenty left in the coffers. But overall, I think the town is being responsible here, and nothing I saw caused any type of concern or alarm. We are lucky to have the people we have working for the town of Pagosa Springs, and they do a wonderful job. After the budget talks, council quickly voted on giving $1,250 to 2 child care providers, and then saying yes to submitting a technical assistant grant to the Sonoran Institute. I don't know how to pronounce the Norn. I hope that's right. And that was the town meeting. On to the county meeting. The county started off by amending the land use regulations. And I think the biggest thing here was that they are more closely aligning their rules with the Forest Service. Tents and RVs are allowed for non-commercial use for up to 14 consecutive days after approval of a no-cost permit, or up to 120 consecutive days by a temporary use permit. Basically, they're concerned about how you're gonna handle all that human waste that comes from camping on land. After that fun little presentation, they moved on to old business, where they are installing an access road to the proposed archery park located along Cloman Boulevard. They determined they need to put in additional culverts, raising another $13,000 due to costs. On to new business. Item A approved a letter of support for San Juan County's application for planning grant programs. This is a regional approach to affordable housing. And item B amends the meeting dates for December. Item C amends the personal policy and procedures handbook for on-call pay for dispatch. We truly appreciate those folks that work in dispatch. And that's it for both meetings. You just saved yourself about 4 hours and got all the information in a little over 6-7 minutes minus my Facebook rant at the beginning. Look for a new video coming soon on our current real estate market. I can say this up front, it's not gonna slow down. Stay tuned. All right, Pagosa, cheers and thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for watching. If you're looking to move to this magical town and need to buy or sell a home, I'd love to help guide you. And if you're a local business that would like to collaborate to make cool content, contact me. Cheers, Pagosa.